In this very moment, right here and now, we are gathered in our spiritual home to get our weekly spiritual sustenance. I know that God is in this place. He's with us, within us, as us, all of us. So God is here. God is our source. God is everywhere present. And that fills our center with joy and peace and love and happiness. I know that Adrian, our medical technician, as the stuff runs smoothly and effortlessly today. And I know the music that we have chosen is just the right music that fills our heart, and that the message will be delivered by Corliss, Serber, who is our practitioner for the day. And it'll be just the right message that we need to hear and that we need to know. And I give thanks for all of you being here to receive the sustenance that is yours, and so it is.
We believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that urges us to focus on how to think and not what to think. It invites us to practice this philosophy and apply it to our lives right now by living with principles. Our relationship with God is a personal one. We believe that God is all that there is. Every person, place, or thing is not only an expression of God, but God itself. God is the absolute presence that not only creates, but is itself all things. All the love, peace, and beauty is in each of us as the presence of God right now. I know this of you, too. You are just as divine because God is within you as well. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in God, we believe in ourselves, and we believe in you because we believe in spiritual living.
Good morning. My name is Corliss Serber, and I am a practitioner here at the Beaumont Center for Spiritual Living, and I love being here in that capacity. And today is called Practitioner Sunday. And on Practitioner Sunday, each of the practitioners have a turn to get to be the speaker for Sunday. And you know, the monthly theme has been Holy, Holy Uprising. And the talk title for today is Boldly Living a New Story. Well, if you've heard me speak before, you know I like to practice jokes. Well, I have two riddles today. Here's the first one. What's the punishment for gluing together the pages of a biography? Multiple back-to-back life sentences. And the second one is, where do mirrors keep their life stories? In their reflections. What two better riddles could introduce boldly living a new life story for the theme of Holy, Holy Uprising? As you can probably see on this slide, there is a quote. You've got a new story to write, and it looks nothing like your past. When I'm getting prepared to do a talk, I go into reflection. That's kind of my mode. And in that reflection, I found these points. First is timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. It takes a true commitment to daily living by intention. Think about that. And as we may already know, since science of mind is not just a philosophy, but it has tools. We are holy, holy. And it's up to us to be able to use those in our daily lives. Because you know, that is a gift. It's a gift to have this gaggle of tools. Don't you think so? Because we need tools to let go of the old stories that no longer work for us if they ever did. So we can be in the present and have every moment of now coming, being that present of now in our new, bold story. And the thing is, don't we want results in our life? That when we choose, we have to choose. When we're choosing to create a new life story, that means we're dedicated to our true purpose in life, God-given, the true path. And that not only helps us individually, but think about it. It helps us collectively. And we in our center are at such an auspicious moment in time that we can be the best we can be in any moment in time individually so that we help each other collectively. Because we all know 1 + 1 is not 2, it's 11. Slide. Last month, the Science of Mind magazine, which I'm very attuned to, had a whole story about timeless vision, timeless wisdom and evolutionary vision. And in Science of Mind, their definition is, for evolutionary vision, we envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. And in timeless wisdom, this is the definition from Science of Mind. The spiritual principle is spiritual beings. The one infinite reality is both transcendent and immanent. Individual human beings are spiritual beings living in a spiritual universe, having, as you and I all know, a human experience. This is our true nature. So today's talk has 3 main points. First of all, why story is important. Second, how it impacts us personally. And third, how it can impact us collectively and even globally. So I ask this question, are you ready? Quote, can we see the next slide, please? Take a look at this quote. Life is like a camera. You focus on what's important and capture the good times, develop from the negatives, and if things that should work out, you just take another shot. How many of us have been in that space in time? But the point is, we still have to be willing, and we still have to be actively willing, just like some of us heard on that beautiful video that we saw. We have to be ready and have our mindset ready. You know, Evonne said earlier that we have Dr. Reverend Christian Sorensen in our Science of Mind technology. He's just amazing. He's written a lot of books. And he said this, what hangs out in your thoughts hangs out in your life. Now, we, as religious scientists, we know what we think about comes about, and I know that reflects that. But he also said this in the next line, and it really made an impression upon me. I say close your eyes for a second and listen to this. Only with your soul can you have a holy, holy experience. How many of you know that? How many of you recognize that's possible and meant to be so? We are each God's stuff. That stuff that says there are no coincidences. It's all God. And there's no such thing as a circumstance that is not where we're supposed to be at that moment in time, and it's not good, and it's not bad, and it's not right, wrong, all that stuff. That's that human stuff. But we can choose to be in that space and time to just be the truth of who we are. I can't help it, I'm still a retired school teacher. So I have a couple of stories that are going to illustrate this. I actually found the first 2 stories in the Science of Mind magazine and from Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen's source. So I think that's pretty neat. Well, this is called the Black Dot Story. A teacher passed out a piece of paper, white, and the only thing on it was a large dot, a large black dot. And all she said to her students were, take a look, write a few sentences to describe what you see. Well, once everyone got this and finished it, the professor collected the papers and started to read. And every one that he read described all sorts of things. They wrote about the black dot, its size, its position, the page. Some even got creative and said, oh, this is a writing about being the portal to the universe. Regardless, all comments were only about the black dot. And if you think about that, what was interesting is that no one wrote about the white part of the paper, that which underlined the black hole. The moral of this story is that you have so much to celebrate in life if you see the whole picture. Let me ask you, do you tend to focus on the dark spots, the disappointments, those anxious moments, the bad news, the headlines, the social media feeds? Or are you taking your foundational good, that God stuff, that foundational good, for granted in some way? So much so that you forget the gratitude. You forget that your life is based on this backdrop of gratitude, the blessings in your life. Obviously, it's important. It's important to take your eyes off these duck-sized dots and see the whole picture, because that's where the brightness shines through and gives you that willingness and gives you that allowingness, so that you can, if you need to change a negative belief in your life, you have all the wherewithal, the inside wherewithal, the outside wherewithal, so that it's in congruency and it just takes place. And it does take developing a habit, but we all have to take that first step, don't we? That first step to develop that habit. Because I know I feel this way. I want to live the best life I can possibly live at any moment in time. Don't you? And then this other story, again, from the Daily Guides, from Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen. He called it a prescription for life. There was this entrepreneur, and he had a very successful business at one time, but it got into debt. And he just remunerated, and he couldn't figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I have payroll, I have this, I have that. And all he did was contemplate on the negative. But he decided, I need to get out of this office. He goes to the park. And in the park, there was this old man, and he said, oh, you don't look like you're feeling very good. And this entrepreneur said, no, I've got some problems. And when he relayed what the problems were, this older gentleman takes out his checkbook and he writes a check and gives it to the entrepreneur. It turned out to be in the amount of $500,000. He couldn't believe it. He didn't want to take it. Yes, take it. It's for you. You're going to meet me here in 1 year and you're going to be able to pay me back. And the older gentleman leaves and the entrepreneur takes the check and he goes back to his office. Once there, he starts to think. And he says, you know what? I'm just going to put this check in my safe. I know I have it, and if I need it, it's going to be there. And you know what? He got that limited belief of, while he was thinking about all the negative, out of the way, and he said, okay, I know I've got something extra in there. I can use it if I need to, so I'm going to take this bold step, and I'm going to take this step. It may not feel comfortable in the moment, but I'm going to take it. And so when he did, he kept on doing it, and with a matter of months, things started to get better and better. And pretty soon, he knew he wasn't going to have to declare bankruptcy, and not too long, it didn't seem like, was he able to meet 1 year later, go back to the park, and thinking, I wonder if this gentleman is going to be there. So the entrepreneur is already sitting at the park bench, and all of a sudden, the older gentleman's coming slowly, and this nurse is running after him, and she says to the entrepreneur, oh, I hope this gentleman is not bothering you. He just thinks he's John D. Rockefeller, and he always writes checks and signs it, John D. Rockefeller. No doubt you get the meaning of this story. You know, the entrepreneur is kind of amused at himself but he was also very pleased that he chose to believe in himself, because he thought he had something from the outside to help him believe in himself. But that wasn't enough, really. He still had to have all that inside, believing that I can. And the whole thing was that he could, and he didn't even need that check in the safe at all. How many of you have ever felt like that? You know, I think, to reiterate again, to be a religious scientist, that's a gift in life. I wish I had grown up in this philosophy. Coming to it when I did was just the right timing, because you know how it is in life, it's always the right timing. However, I have to say, why do I want to not use in a daily spiritual routine whatever tools I think are right for me from Science of Mind? Because I love the idea of principle-based living, value-based living, but we're humans, right? And we are God stuff, but we're humans in a spiritual experience. And so don't we need a little bit of inside help as well as a little bit of outside help? So I think it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to actually have a daily spiritual routine that I adhere to. I don't make someone else do it, but I do suggest that everyone have their own, because it's just like when you get a present and it's wrapped so pretty and you find out what's in it and then you want to give it to everybody, right? And you want them to unwrap it. But I also know that everyone has their own time for unwrapping. But what I think our talk is today is to give you opportunities to realize you have this, and why not do it? And everything that Adrian has given us today, as far as songs and videos and the beautiful way that everything has been expressed, has just exactly said the same thing to me. And I wouldn't be a very good retired school teacher if I didn't give you a story about my own life in relation to this. And could I have the next slide, please? Ernest Holmes said, "This is the story of your life. Just keep right on knocking at the doorway of your consciousness until every no becomes a yes, every negation an affirmation, every fear a faith." And I found that in this thing called You in chapter 6. I recommend that book to anybody. And I have to say that when I was going as an undergrad at UCLA, John Wooden was really big in basketball, and he said this: make each day your masterpiece. I think that is like art. Make each day your masterpiece. And it reminded me of my own mom. And could I have the next slide, please? Because she gave me a life beginning similar to this quote by Jeff Brown. Words so powerful. They can crush a heart or heal it. They can shame a soul or liberate it. They can shatter dreams or energize them. They can obstruct connection or invite it. They can create defenses or melt them. We have to use our words wisely. Like I said, my mom, she was pretty special. But she always told me that words mattered. Something like, remember that adage, sticks and stones can break your bones, ... Well, then I took those words to mean I needed to be nice to my friends. I needed to help somebody. I never thought that meant be nice to me, have inner critic words that were positive, not negative. But with growing up and having an interest later in Science of Mind and early on in meditation and very much interested in philosophy and psychology, I realized those words had a lot more meaning than what I thought when I was a little girl. And I don't know, this has probably been like 20 years ago, before I came to Science of Mind. I developed a partial spiritual routine that I ended up calling WIGS, W-I-G-S. The W was for wins. The intentions were the I, and the G stood for gratitude. And what happened is, you know how no story is really stagnant, right? Every breath we take, we have another opportunity, and so forth. And what that happened, and I did that daily for quite a few years. And what happened was the gratitudes that were at the end of the day for my intentions, became my wins for the next day. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so then I got to not only be it, I got to see it, I got to experience, and I got to have it. And some of my friends in different groups that I was in at that time, they said, I want to do that. And I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. I like that. And so we did do it. It was about 5 or 6 of us. And that evolved into what has been today, I think in the last 5 years anyway, and now we have the internet and email and all, into something I now call the 5 blessings. And so I have this email list where every day I take my wigs, my wins, my intentions, and my gratitudes, and I turn them into what I share as my 5 blessings for the day. And I want to tell you that has been exponential. That has helped me personally, and it's helped me personally going further and further and out there in a greater way. But now I'm getting back from people, and I have all along, I am so glad I'm on your email list. I mean, when you said this, it helped me do that, and I didn't remember I could do that, and blah, 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 blah. And you know what? That made everything worthwhile to be vulnerable. At first, I was a little afraid to be so vulnerable. But you know, it was all worth it, and it still is. Today, I can say that I'm using my own words much more wisely, and I'm helping others. I think that's in the wisdom as well. And to me, it feels like a grand journey. And so I invite you along at any time. You know, in conclusion, we get caught up in our day-to-day struggles, and we forget to give thanks. Thanks for that is allowing us to be here. So I have 3 different points that I'd like you to close your eyes, and I want to have all of us give thanks. Give thanks for your past and all that you have become. And take a big breath in. And honor it by letting it go. Give thanks for the old story you have needed in the past, and begin embracing the now. And honor this by taking that breath in and holding it precious and dear and letting it go. And 2, give thanks. Give thanks for the old story you have needed in the past and embracing the now. But now, the place where you can choose, allow yourself to be in that place where you can choose to create, right now, a new, bold story. All you have to do is simply be present in the now. And take that breath in to acknowledge, holding it precious and dear, and letting it go. So I ask you, are you ready? Because if you are, I have 3 suggestions. Choose at least one. Practice gratitude for the life you have lived with all the stories that you have created. There's many ways to do that. We've just practiced some. And/or choose meditation and make the meditation on surrendering. Surrendering the past and accepting the new. Using that allowing and that willing. Or 3rd, use visioning. Visioning the spirit story of you. And of course, we can do this together, and we could have the next slide. We can always start every day with an affirmation. So we have a group affirmation here. And I'm going to say it aloud first, and then we can say it together. I am fully embracing the true story of my life now. And now everyone together. I am fully embracing the true story of my life now. And as we say in Science of Mind, and so it is. And today, the prayer is going to be from this Science of Mind magazine, which is this month's. And it, too, is by a very fabulous minister in our philosophy that I've had a chance to have a few conversations with, and I would love to have a few more conversations with, and that's Reverend Sunshine Day. So in the prayer, let's close our eyes and take a big breath in. Anchor this breath with pure love and let it go. Breathing in again and anchoring this breath in pure love. Releasing. And continue to breathe as you breathe, acknowledging you are on your soul's call. There is one power, one presence, one life. That life is God. I believe in God and nothing else. The magnificent intelligence is all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. I know it as love, as joy, as freedom, and as power. This life has created all from itself. Therefore, I am the unique, unrepeatable, glorious way the Most High expresses in human form. This power and presence is my life. And this is the truth for all. God expresses in, through, and as all. From this place of power and love, I speak the word over all life as one. I declare my soul beautifully paints and colors the canvas of our world. I listen to the indwelling broadcast of my soul. I am obedient to this call as it guides me toward the highest and the best. This driving essence within me says yes to that which is for the fullest expression of all life. When I experience a dark night of the soul, I remember and celebrate my soul's calling for rest, reassurance, and a return to what is real. When it is good in my soul, only richness and plenitude is produced. Quote, my soul sings out to you, my love, quote, as the demonstration of overflow in my life. I accept this sweet invitation of abundant joy. From this place of deep appreciation and thanksgiving for my soul's calling, I release this word into the loving law that makes manifest this prayer. Moment by moment, I joyfully confirm the evidence of this answer, and you and I can affirm and aver by saying, and so it is. And thank you for sharing this time this morning with me.
Thank you for participating in our service. You can do online giving by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. You can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the bottom or the top of the screen. Or you can mail your donation to Center for Spiritual Living, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. If you enjoyed this service and are watching on YouTube or Facebook, please like and share this video and add a comment on it. If you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little notification bell to be updated when we post new content. For those on Zoom, visit our Facebook page to comment and share to help spread this message.